using one, not using the other, or using it in a certain quantity. It's about the possibility actually of phasing it out altogether.
But like Mr. Timkapura was explaining, you deal with the problem because without the pesticides, the problem is much bigger. Your food output falls. Mr. Timkapura, is it true that can we phase out pesticide? Can we absolutely do away with this pesticides?
No, it is not possible.
Okay.
It's not possible. Only thing is, we can start developing safer chemicals. Now, see, in the olden days, we were using deadly chemicals like BHC, DDT, and things like that.
Okay.
Yes, they used to have biomagnification. I do agree with that. But now, after realizing the problems with these residual problems and biomagnification and things like that, and the chemical companies have started developing more safe chemicals, and farmers should be educated to use those safe chemicals. And chemicals should be used as a last resort after following the available cultural methods and available botanicals like neem or pangamia based pesticides, and also by using biological control methods. There are many natural enemies, and there are pheromone traps to trap the insects, and there are barrier crops to avoid the infestation by insects, and there are resistant varieties available for certain diseases and pests. So by using those varieties, we can reduce the chemical sprays in the crops. So there are so many other methods, and education is required, and more awareness is required for the farmer, so that he will also have the responsibility that it's not only his profitability, but also he should see the safety of the food what he grows. Okay. So for this, there is a big demand or need for educating the farmers on village basis.
Okay.
I don't know whether we should educate farmer or de-educate scientist. Both are. See, look at this. The so-called novel
educate
chemical.
Farmer or de-educate the scientist.
See, somebody has started an institute in Jaipur, a higher institute for higher unlearning.
Okay.
I think we should put them all there, right? See, a lot of unlearning is required. I mean, today, please understand that it's no longer this DNA-based, genetic-based thing. It's the epigenetic, it is ecology, it is the multitudinal.
Okay.
And I can tell you one chemical which was 1,000 times, 10,000 times more lethal than BHC and DDT, neonicotinoids. They were considered to be the safest. But just last, I think, year, the European Union banned all of them because of colony collapse. Because they're very potent. They thought, okay, see what they thought earlier, most of the chemicals have got to do with the fat metabolism. Females in particular can excrete only through breast milk. And it goes to the next change. That's why they said a pesticide doesn't kill once, it kills many times. That is why it is said we have great answers for wrong questions. We need to relook at this whole thing. And that is science. See, unfortunately what happened, ecology, environment, complexity was never considered as a science because we don't understand it. The easy cause and effect, Mark Twain's famous statement, if you have a hammer in your hand, all problems look like nails.
Okay, we'll come to that. Does the farmer need to be educated, or do the scientists need to be re-educated? This is a big question. We get talking about this after this very short break. Stay tuned. Okay, where does the problem lie? Where does the problem lie? All of us on our tables, we innocently end up eating fruits and vegetables. Do you know about the harmful toxins hidden in these? Now you can also call us on this numbers 22360304 or 305 and also talk about any issue that could concern you. Now we're talking to you, Mr. Raghu, about do we need to re-educate the scientist?
Absolutely.
Let's also get Mr. Timkapura's reaction after you're finished. Yeah.
See, the whole thing is, see, now let us say the animals put on more weight. You see, look at this. There is a hormone called trenbolone acetate, which is used abundantly in the animal farming to put on more weight. cattle put on 20% more weight on a daily basis. And American farmers earn $1 billion by this hormone weight gain. And today, look at the animal husbandry today, 60% of the antibiotics are actually going for animal farming. Why? The moment you take antibiotics, it disturbs the gut microbes, they metabolize more, you put on more weight. You have more chicken per capita. But what with a trace of antibiotics? Preventive antibiotics, just in the name of science what we are doing. It's like, say, feeding cattle with the meat in the name of science. This was a scientific solution. To put on more weight and more milk, in Europe they fed meat to cattle. Tell me which educated, do they need to be de-educated? Any farmer will feed meat to cows? No farmer, no. The lesser the education, the more the ecological sense. In fact, if you read in Ayurveda, in Charaka Samhita, Charaka, the great master says, I know this much about this herb, you want to know more? Go and ask a cowherd or a shepherd. He knows better. See, I'll tell you, with all my reading on food, and I'm passionate about reading about food and knowledge, but I'll tell you, I'm a big zero when it comes to my own body and my own requirement. I depend on my grandmother. See, they say a home which has enough cooking books, they don't cook. This is a dichotomy.
I totally agree with that.
Okay. Well, Mr. Timkapur, we want your reaction to this. Do the scientists have to unlearn?
No, I have no problem. If you want to re-educate the scientists, I have no problem.
Okay.
But the question is, who will re-educate them?
Okay.
But not only the scientists or the farmers, the policy makers are to be educated, the bureaucrats, concerned bureaucrats are to be educated, and the public has to be educated, and everyone should have this knowledge and information and awareness. But then everyone should also have the responsibility to educate the farmer, because ultimately he is the one who is going to grow our food. He is the one who is going to give us food and fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
So unless his profession is profitable,
Mr.
then
Timkapur,
there is no answer.
Mr. Timkapur, let me ask you, is it safer to eat organic because of this pesticide residual problem? Is it safer to eat organic food?
Definitely, but no, let me tell you one thing. Recently there was an epidemic, there was nearly 32 people died by eating organic lettuce in some European country, I don't remember exactly, but because it was contaminated with some bacteria, enterobacteria, and 32 people died. So just because it is organic, it doesn't mean that it is totally safe. It can have many different microorganisms which are able to cause diseases in human beings or any animals. So just because you put organic manure can have many other bacteria or fungi also. And many organically grown produce, when they have fungus infection, it will have mycotoxins. Okay, and you may be eating directly some of the insects. So all these problems are there. You don't think that eating organic is safest and you will have no problem.
Okay, Mr.
No, that is not so.
Mr. Timkapur,
so by using chemical.
Now for people, for lay people, let's understand whether you feed the plant chemically a certain manure or you feed the plant organically, the plant accepts it ionically. So per se, how superior is organic to the regular stuff that we eat?
You are perfectly right. You are perfectly right in saying that the plant doesn't differentiate whether the nutrition is available through organic form or inorganic form. It is ultimately absorbing in ionic form. The plant doesn't make any difference. Okay. Ultimately, the organic manure helps in the conditioning of the soil, and it increases the humus of the soil, and it encourages the beneficial organism development. So that way it will help the farm and the soil. Actually, we were growing all our food until 1970 by organic way only.
Absolutely.
And we had enough land, enough fertile land, and enough rains and forests, and we were growing only our local varieties, which we claim that they were very nutritious, very tasty and all that, fine. But we had only 44 crore population during that time. Then we were not having enough food to feed our 44 crore population. We went to US with Bigging Bowl, and now because of modern technology, we have been able to grow enough food to feed more than 120 crore people.
Right, Mr.
So,
Raghu, your
but
point.
at the same time, there is some problem due to green revolution. That is because of lack of knowledge or education. Farmers are using chemicals, fertilizers indiscriminately. That is where the problem has been created. So
right,
we
Mr.
need to educate the farmer about all these things, and then we have to correct them.
What we can't see, I tell you, he said ionically we absorb. Finally what happens? How do we get our energy? Electron transfer, isn't it? So let us get ourselves charged from the electric switch. So ultimately we get energy, no? Get charged. See, what happens? See, the world has 2 million, 20 lakh species. And unknown species 80 lakhs. 8 million species are unknown in this world. Leonardo da Vinci used to say, we know about the floating galaxy in the sky, but we don't know about the microorganism beneath our feet. We don't know. How can we talk authoritatively? See, I need energy. Can I eat sugar? I cannot eat. The farm, complexity, interdependence. See, our body has got 5 liters of blood. It can hold only 5 grams of sugar. So the complexity there. And your own body consists of 100 trillion cells. And 90 trillion cells belong to bacteria. You are a guest in your own body. Your body is an ecosystem. Don't look at this cause and effect like as if you are charging your mobile phone. It's beyond that. And science accepts it today fully. Science accepts it fully.
Okay. Now, Dr. Vishwanath, you've been very quiet since the start. Now, when we eat this huge amount of pesticide residues, what happens within the body? What happens? The body has to flush it out. The body knows that there is some dangerous object. It has to flush it out. How does the body flush it out?
See,
Which is the most stressed out part of the body? Is it the skin,
vegetables, fruits, what
liver?
we eat, whether this pesticides at the permissible limit or above permissible limit. Suppose if the permissible limit, they will be excreted through kidneys or metabolized through liver also.
Through kidneys and liver?
Yeah, mainly. Okay. And some of them, the small quantities accumulated over a period of time.
So we need strong kidneys and strong livers. That's the only solution.
Unfortunately, this doesn't mean like strong. Or if you keep on accumulating over a period of years, 10 years, 15 years, ultimately the effect will be bigger.
So what are the problems a person can develop?
For example, acute problems in the dosage is above permissible, but acute problems are very rare usually. Sometimes they cause dizziness, nausea, vomiting, all those things. Chronic problems, accumulation over a period of time, as I said, leukemias, cancers, and neurologically people have reports of getting a Parkinson disease. And some studies there, exposure to particular pesticide over a period of 100 days lead to diabetes. So there are and even the skin dermatitis can happen because of pesticide effect. But again the question is, suppose we have one side an apple, one side a fried potatoes, potato chips, which one to prefer? We need apples and fruits and vegetables which contain antioxidants. Absolutely. Still, if it is in permissible limit, prefer an apple.
Actually, in terms of permissible limit, the argument of permissible maximum residue limit, as it's called, MRL, itself is a completely humbug debate, because you're talking of, you're talking of limits for one chemical, but what you're consuming is a host of chemicals through a
cocktail of chemicals.
You're eating a cocktail. You're
Absolutely.
not talking of the accumulative effect. So it becomes irrelevant whether it's whether one pesticide is okay in a certain quantity, because you're not eating that alone.
Mr. Raghu, would you like to?
This is very interesting. In fact, some facts. See, in journalism, say the facts are sacred, comment is free. What are the facts? We used to about 267 pesticides in this country. 70 of them have not been studied for MRL. Safety studies have not been established. And whoever tests, whether department states, agriculture department goes and draws samples and tests it, they will test for approved samples, approved chemicals. There are 50 unapproved banned chemicals being used in India. What is meant for cotton is going for fruits and vegetables. Okay, now the another important thing is, there is a report that all our universities are supposed to recommend a pesticide for what it has been registered for. Suppose say aldrin has been registered for a particular crop in the Insecticide Act. The universities are supposed to recommend only what it has been licensed for. But there is a mismatch in the university recommendation to the very registration of this pesticide with the government of India. This is a big problem. How can our universities, how can our scientists recommend pesticide what it is not meant for? You look at the science, forget about larger science of ecology.
Okay.
Whatever science, whatever half-baked science that this has been established. I'll tell you again the risk assessment. You must read the last issue of Science Journal from American Association for Advancement of Science. What it says is trenbolone is a hormone used to put on weight. And they thought once it is excreted and exposed to sunlight, it gets broken. But now scientists say at night it comes back. The headline was zombie-like. How does it come back? A chemical entity coming back to life at night when there is no light. You see, you need to relook at our whole, this is called slippery slope of risk assessment. That's why Europe today adopts a precautionary principle. How do you assess a risk? Based on known facts, unknown facts, unknown? How do you comment on something you do not know? See, America is following a substantial equivalence. But precautionary principle is the method we need to be careful about. Because these things cannot be withdrawn from nature. Take for example antibiotic. Today in Antarctica you find antibiotic resistant genes because it gets horizontally expanded across the species.
Absolutely.
I mean, what are we doing here? We need to grow our food, eat our hunger, all that, but not at the cost of ecology.
Absolutely. Raghu, you were telling us how E. coli is very high in American cows.
See, this is because the cows. I always ask, if somebody asks me what's the nutrition value of a milk, I don't answer. I simply ask, does your cow walk? Is your cow fed on dry ration? Or is it with the green? Or is it a single green grown? Or greens uncultivated? Is the calf there with the cow? What happens if the calf is sold on the day one? The milk you get, you'll have the same hormones. See, you need to ask questions. We need to rethink about what we have done.
Correct.
Vasant also agrees that there has been enough harm. You see, with the same, this feeding business, do you know, world today has 20% more food than the world requires. 2,600 million tons of food grain for 7 billion population. Why 1 billion hungry, why 1 billion obese? You know, G.K. Chesterton was too obese. And he once looked at Shaw, who was chatty and, bag of bones. What, Mr. Shaw, you are so small, so tiny. If anybody looks at you, they think there is famine and drought in England. And Shaw looked at Chesterton and told him, sir, if they look at you, they will know the reason also. You see, why we have more food but less.
You're speaking about cows in US having E. coli in their excreta.
Because the gut system.
Yeah.
Because the gut system, as I told you, see, basically, the guts, today there is a large science called microbiome. Because there is a collaboration between genome of a being with the genome of a microbes. So they work together, they don't work in isolation. There is a collaboration. So what happens when the gut microbes get disturbed? The harmful bacteria are more in the cow dung because they never walk. They never walk, they're tied down. I saw a cow right here in Karnataka, the feet is completely flattened. It can't walk because they say 5 years it has not got out of the shed.
Oh God.
I mean, we have to look at ethics also. So what happens, and then again, an organic doesn't mean that you have to use all outside input to the farm. Organic is defined as a cultivation without much off-farm input. And organic, I'm not talking just about organic. Can we be ecologically friendly? Can we have a nature-friendly mechanism? Can we have non-pesticide management system? Is that possible? Yes, possible.
With sustainability.
What is the solution for? See, again, our farming system is unsustainable. I can tell you. See, phosphorus. This whole modern agriculture depends on NPK. NPK at the ratio of 4:2:1. Phosphorus will be over in 100 years. This is what nature reports. Because it is mined. What is about? We can't inevitable. What do you do if it is not there in the earth? What do you do?
Well, we have spoken about the problem now. Dr. Basuraj Hudaid, you are a medical practitioner, very incidentally in BBMP. Now you understand this problem much better than your colleagues in BBMP. How do you make our food safer? Or let's ask Mr. Timkapur before you gather your thoughts. Mr. Timkapur, how do we finally make our food safer? Even if organic food is not fit to be eaten, then what do we eat? Surely we cannot starve.
No, as he said that we need to You are not audible. Part of the
Okay, we
question
seem to
was
be having
not
some audio
audible
problem.
to me, but
Now, finally, what do we eat? What do you eat, Dr. Lokesh? Well, let's ask you, because you're all enlightened, consumers of food. Let's ask you, what do you eat? Yeah, Ms. Srimati, what do you eat? I'd like to know after this. Yeah, Dr. Lokesh.
See, the problem that is existing right now is that compared to the Western standards, the fruits and vegetables that we are consuming as on this day, they actually contain higher amount of residual pesticide on them.
Not all fruits and vegetables, major commercially produced. For example, apples will have much higher than, let's say, you have some traditional fruits which people don't grow like commercially, like Sitapal and all that.
But majority of what is being bulk consumed and things like that, or cash crops, things like that, which are of commercial value, people are very keen on getting the crops on time and things like that. Just for an example, an apple. I'm given to understand over a period of 4-5 seasons, the crop, the tree and the whole thing is actually exposed to 4-5 different types of pesticide, insecticide, herbicides and various things. And then it comes to the storage, then you have storage chemicals, things like that, or the other ways of storing. So, but the fact is, these vegetables and fruits are having considerably higher amount of residual pesticide. That is the matter of concern. So,
how do you eat an apple?
At least why are we not achieving the international standard?
No, how do you eat an apple?
No, generally, what
you remove the skin and eat it, it's fine. But like he was saying, if it's ingested through the cell and each cell of the fruit has, the problem, then what do you do?
No. One is the surface.
Remove the skin.
No. What I'm trying to explain here is it's a complex thing. One is whether the surface pesticide can be removed with washing, and sometimes extensive washing may not actually remove it. So these are the concerns that have been existing, and also many of these ground growing tomato and things like that, which are actually exposed to higher pesticides. What I'm given to understand is the timing of removing the crops being harvesting and all that, from the time of exposure to the chemicals and all, have to be timed scientifically. That is where the experts' opinion, experts' advice have to be taken.
Let's get to the solutions bit. What do you eat? What do you eat, Mr. Raghu?
No, I eat lots of fruits and vegetables.
Like what? Let's have the names.
I would avoid. I 100% avoid grapes.
You don't eat grapes. Okay. What do you eat? What do you eat? You don't eat grapes.
I eat orange. You
eat orange.
Melons and.
You eat melons, muskmelon and watermelon.
I eat papaya.
You eat papaya.
Because man has been, they say, fruitarian because we've been up there on the trees for a long time.
Okay. We were arboreal according to certain people. So I don't believe it.
Before he descended down. That's why somebody was.
Whether we like it or not, we are exposed to these chemicals.
Exactly.
And
okay, let's at least tell the viewers what do we eat finally, because we have told the viewer that this is bad and that is bad. Finally, what do we eat? What does Mr. Raghu eat? I guess that should be safe food. Oranges are safe.
No, I'm not
Papayas
saying. That's why I said I don't want to evolve my own individual private solution for a whole problem.
What do you eat? I guess that should be safe.
I would say that we need to, as a country, as citizens, as society, collective consciousness has to be awakened. And that has to be. See, I can't evolve. See, what I can do if there is a mosquito, I can burn a coil. Is that a solution?
Correct.
No, that's a public problem.
Okay. So finally, what do you eat? You avoid grapes.
What else do you avoid? Of course, I eat whole grains, unpolished rice. I don't believe in this white supremacy, the fair and lovely culture that we are so dearly embraced to.
Okay.
And we are racial in our food
You eat unpolished rice?
I eat unpolished rice. Okay. I use multi grains.
I use
more of millets.
Lot of millets like ragi,
ragi
like
and all
bajra.
That. I'm 70. I don't look 70, isn't it?
Okay, like millets and jowar.
Exactly. Okay. The number of these forgotten grains, which have been disliked, which have been put into the lower hierarchy of the subaltern culture, they've been trampled, to be frank. Okay. And this is status food, the white rice and all this status that we have. And in fact, you don't know, the Romans died not because of their culture and all that. The rich got water in a lead pipe. Lead was a symbol of status that time. And they died.
Okay.
So,
no.
we have a
So
problem.
let's speak about safe foods. Dr. Basaraj Huded, you're incidentally an MBBS, but you're doing the work of a food inspector and food safety officer. Okay. Now, in BBMP, perhaps nobody understands this problem better than you. How do you make our food safer and what do you eat? Or you don't care?
Definitely, we will have to rethink after going back from this. This thing.
What do you eat?
Very difficult to say.
What do you eat? You eat normal food, so there's nothing. Okay, Dr. Vishwanath.
I prefer eating at least 250 grams of fruit a day.
250 grams of what fruit a day?
I usually prefer papaya, guava,
Papaya,
apple,
guava.
which are not much sweet.
Okay.
And I
Apple,
prefer-
you remove the skin.
No, I
You eat
clean
it
it
with the
properly. I won't remove the skin.
You wash it. You
I
wash it
just
with
wash-
detergent. People wash apples with detergent because they say there's a polish on the apple
Yes, they do to give
for
that
the shine.
to
Yeah,
sheen,
so
yes.
to wash it off, they wash it
Easier
with
to method
detergent.
to wash in a running water.
Put it in the
Wash
washing
it
machine.
neatly and unless we have a safety guidelines from farming
Exactly.
to farmer to the retailer,
Okay.
Exactly.
we cannot escape from the pesticides.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Lokesh, what do you eat?
No,
How do you eat it?
I don't. I'm not selective. So I take whatever is available. I'm just like a common man. Walk into a store,
Okay.
pick up any kind of fruits. Generally, mixed fruits is what we advise, and I also stay with that. And
Okay.
there is no way of knowing whether
Another risk of cancer is
Yes.
people who suffer from cancer,
Yes.
oncologists tell them, have at least a few helpings of fruit a day.
Yes.
Because fruit is a sure shot way of flushing out free radicals.
Because it's antioxidants.
No. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you have a lot of antioxidants. So
Yes.
so what is this theory of eating fruit?
No, see, fruits are protective. Fruits
Okay.
and exercise is what we advocate to prevent normal population from getting cancer. At least if they eat 4-5